Hi everyone, so today is gonna be the anticipated toilet training video that you guys have asked for. I'd love to apologize that it's taking this long, but I think the issue that I was having was trying to combine everything in one video. I did ask some parents on Instagram if some of the questions that they would love for me to answer in regards to toilet training, and I was thinking of doing the toilet training and answering all together, and that really messed up with my brain and just trying to do it. So now I've decided that the best option is to do the toilet training video separately and also do the questions as a separate video. That makes it a lot better and also help me with my brain. I know that toilet training can be difficult. I've toilet trained 3 children who have different needs, so I feel like I have some tips and can help you out with the way to go and how to start it off as easily as possible. What to expect and prepare for. I'm sorry if I'm reading from a script. That's the only way I can do this and make sure that I've covered everything that I need to cover. Toilet training is going to be the hardest thing you will ever do, and the earlier you do it, the better. The younger they are, the better that they will be able to get through the routine of your child will get into the routine of toilet training and understanding the concept of toilet training. I hope that makes sense. Your child is definitely going to protest, right? And I think that is usually the hardest part for a lot of parents when the child is protesting. And I'll tell you this, your child has every right to protest, because if you think about it, they've been in toilet, they've been in nappies all their life, you know, they pooed on themselves, they peed on themselves in the nappy. So why do you want to change it now? Why do you want to make their life harder? You know, so it is more of letting them understand that, you know, this can't be a long-term thing for you. This is how you have to do it now. Once you've made your mind to toilet train your child, you have to be ready to toilet train them in the morning and at night. Yes, it's going to be difficult. You're going to be mentally draining, you know, and overwhelming. So my advice for you is to start when your child is on holiday. The Easter holiday is coming very soon. Maybe try and see if you can take time off work. And even if you can't take time off work, you might maybe see whether to start during the weekend or do your rota in a way whereby you have a weekend off and maybe a Monday, Tuesday off. So at least you have like 5-6 days to keep up with the toilet training routine. If you have extra help from your family, your friends, your partner, ask them to be involved in the process. Their siblings too can be involved in the process. If your child is in a 2 household, for example, you are not with your partner anymore, or they go to nursery or to school, everybody involved in that child has to be on the same page. You cannot be toilet training your child at home and then when they get to your partner's place, they are not following the same routine you're following, or when they're in school is not involved in the routine. You have to all be at the same page, so that way it doesn't become confusing for your child by the think, oh, but at home I'm toilet trained, but why am I, but daddy's not letting me do it, or mom's not letting me do it, or oh, school is not involved. So you all have to be on the same page. There's a possibility that things are going to get damaged. I'm not going to come here, sit down and say, oh, don't worry, your sofa is not going to be ruined, you're not going to have poop on the wall. There's a strong possibility that 1 or 2 of these things are going to happen, and it's just a sacrifice that you have to make. You might also think that, oh my god, my friends, what are my friends going to think? Oh, I'm going to have guests, I can't have guests, or oh, this, that. Forget about the guests, they're not important. What is important at the moment is the toilet training that you want to do. So if your friends do not understand what you're trying to do, or you feel like they're gonna, you know, make you feel some type of way, maybe not invite anybody to your home at that point. Just stick to the toilet training, because that is the most important thing that you have to focus on. You're clearly going to have a few things that you would need to buy, you know, to help make the mess minimal. So some of the shopping lists that you need to get, you might already have some of these things in your house. So the first one would be cleaning products, right? You have to get a lot of cleaning products, but your 2 best friends will be salt and vinegar. Salt or vinegar is going to help neutralize the smell of urine, especially, and I've used it and it's really worked for us in our household. You're going to need a lot of thick duvets. I prefer them to mattress toppers because they're easy to wash and dry. So when you get them, make sure that they're the single duvet so they can fit into your washing machine. Apart from using them as mattress toppers, they are very good for protecting your sofas, for example. So let's say if your child has an accident, it is very easy for you to just take your duvet and go put it in the washing machine and clean it. You're going to need at least 20 boxers or knickers. If you can get something with favorite characters, for example, Peppa Pig or whatever your child likes to play with, just to entice them a little bit and, make the toilet training process fun. Main reason why it's best to get boxers and knickers is because of number 2. So when they poop, the boxers or the knickers can hold the poop in place. Entertainment a lot to your child. This can be their sensory toys, their iPad to watch their favorite show, toys, book, etc. You need to try and keep them in the bathroom as much as possible, especially when they're doing number 2. You may need a 3-way toilet seat if your child doesn't feel comfortable sitting on the one you have at the moment. The one we got is from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. So it has the adult and the child toilet seat combined together. You need to get toilet training pictures charts that shows visuals of what steps to expect. So this can be from taking off your clothes, sitting on the toilet seat, flushing, washing your hands, etc., etc. Whatever step your child will have to take or partake when they use the toilet. They usually have one for boys, they usually have one for girls. So I would say you should obviously get the one that is for your child's sex. You can actually get both and show them, oh, this is how girls use the toilet, this is how boys use the toilet. And also maybe get 2 actually, so you can put one in their going out bag. If they have an AAC device, this can also be the best time to model what to expect. They need comfortable clothes. Stay away from bodysuits and dungarees. For you as well, you need to be as comfortable as possible, because during the first phase of toilet training, in case you are doing lifting, carrying them when they have a meltdown, directing them, you yourself, you need to be comfortable for that. Going out bags, changing clothes, wipes or toilet tissues, nappy sags. This is also for when they go to school or nursery. So you might have to put extra uniform in their bag, just in case they have any accidents. Blankets can also be very useful for very extreme accidents as well. You're also going to need a stool. In the beginning of toilet training, the aim is for your child to do their first pee and their first poop. And that is the only thing that you need to focus on. You cannot get tired of modeling it to them. You have to model to them what is expected. So boys pee and poop this way, girls pee and poop this way. Even if your child is non-speaking, always assume competency. Speak the language to understand. It all boils down to routine. At some point, it will get frustrating and overwhelming, but you have to find ways to regulate yourself. Okay? Shouting, screaming at your child, getting frustrated is not going to help, right? Because during the process, like I said, there will be chances that they're going to smear the wall with poop. They are going to pee on the carpet, pee on the sofa and all that. So you have to remember that you have to always remember what you're trying to achieve, right? So the priority should be to, help your child through this process, because this is going to be a big change in routine. And remember, autistic children are very, very big on changes and routine. So you need to understand that it's going to be frustrating for them. The key to toilet training is timing and observation. Pay attention to signs, their body language. Maybe they love to hide in the corner, under the beddings, facial expressions they make, whether they like to fidget and jump when it's time to pee. These are the things that you have to use to your advantage. So once you notice that these things are in play, you can then start timing it on, okay, right, it's time to go to the toilet, come on, let's go and use the toilet, things like that. This might sound weird to some of you, but the more mistakes they make, the easier it gets, right? And the reason is because this is your opportunity to start keeping records of how often they use the toilet. So you know whether to time it to every 1 hour, every 2 hours, every 4 hours. Okay, when they drink, let's say fizzy drink or water, they pee every 1 hour. If they don't drink as much, maybe they pee every 4 hours. So by doing that, you can have an idea of when to take them to the toilet and when not to. It's going to be a guessing game. So sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But majority of the time when you stick to this, there are chances that you would understand how their bladder works. I hope that makes sense. Priority is to get them into the toilet, not the mess they make. So for example, if your child poos on the floor now, you don't have to focus on, oh, they put on the floor, I need to clean before taking them to the toilet. Take them to the toilet straight away and focus on that. And once you're done, you can then come back and clean the mess. One of the other things that helps, or that I noticed especially with my second child, is that they didn't like mess. So whenever they made the mess, I would say, oh, you know, after we've done all the cleaning and everything, I'll be like, oh, look, now we have to take the poop into the toilet. Come, Sophia, and let's go to the toilet. We'll pour the toilet flush, you see. Or most of the time when it happens in the toilet, any of my child, when it happened in the toilet, I will show them, you know, after cleaning them, I will show them, right, we have to put the poop, it belongs in the toilet, and now we have to flush it, you know. And I think for some children, it starts to click that, oh, okay, mom or dad is trying to make me poop or pee in the toilet. I hope that makes sense. No point in the toilet training process, especially when your child has done the first pee or poop, you feel tempted to wear the nappy for them. Please, please, please do not do that. Like I said, for a lot of children, it's going to take a lot of modeling. It can take 6 months, it might take 1 year. It might even take some children 1 week. And after that 1 week, they still need the adult to keep reminding them, oh, I think it's time to use the toilet. Oh, do you want to use the toilet? The more you're modeling it to them, the less the accidents are going to happen, right? So for some children, accidents are still going to keep happening till a certain age. So for mostly at night, because I think that's when a lot of children struggle. So it could be that the night routine one, you still have to wake them up to go to the toilet. You know, it can be a year, it can be a 2-year thing, it can be a 5-year thing, it can be. But as long as they understand the concept of I peep and poop, do not ever feel tempted to put the nappy on. Even when your child is showing regression, the more you're modeling it to them, even after you've taught them a billion times, right? The more you're paying attention to their body language, especially, accidents are not going to occur as much. Or if even depending on your child's where they're at in terms of communication, some of them might then be telling you pee pee or have a word for it. So it may be pee pee, poo poo, or doo doo, or whatever it is, and tell you, and then you have to take them to the toilet. But if your child is non-speaking, for example, and you still have to if your child is non-speaking and you still have to depend on their body language and their non-speaking cues, then you still have to pay attention to keep reminding them it's time to use the toilet. I think it's time to go use the toilet now. I hope that makes sense. At no stage of the toilet training process should you make them feel some type of embarrassment, right? One of the mistakes that I made unknowingly is that, like, when one of my kid poos now, I always used to joke around and say, poo poo, stinky poo poo. But what I didn't realize was that I was building that embarrassment in my child. So whenever they wanted to do number 2, we really struggled with number 2, because whenever they want to do number 2, they wouldn't want us in their space. So even when I take them to the toilet, they wouldn't want me there. So that was a challenge, and I had to gain that trust back and make them feel comfortable in doing a number 2, because I still had to model, you know, what they had to do. I still had to clean them and stuff like that. So do not make them feel any sort of embarrassment. Like I said, some kids are still gonna, you know, need that modeling, and more accidents might happen or less accidents might happen, but it's all about just meeting your child where they are at. I hope that makes sense. Another good trick is that I always keep a bag of underpants and their changing clothes in the bathroom, because I want them to feel as comfortable as possible in the bathroom. And whenever they maybe have an accident, I will change them there. Now I'm going to go to the bathroom and just maybe show a bit of visuals. Once you got the toilet training picture chart, put it in a place that is visible and accessible to your child. It's all about modeling, and you have to model it in a way you think your child will understand. So the way I did it, this is the way I did mine. So, all right, it's time to, let's go use the toilet. So we're there, we're using at the toilet. So let's say the toilet seat is down. Right, it's time to, if they're doing the number 1, you put your toilet seat up, you pull your pants down, you sit down, use the toilet, you know, if it's that they're peeing, you maybe clean yourself, because most times we use this clean, and you pull your pants back up, you flush the toilet, you wash your hands, right? You are modeling it to them and you're also doing it with them. You wash your hands, you dry your hands, so you get a towel, you dry your hands. Well done. In some cases, it might not be that easy, so you might have a child that will protest. In that situation, so one of the common ones that we had is whenever we try to do the process, they're crying, they don't want to do it. Once they get up and wear their pants, they pee on the floor. So once we noticed that, it then became a situation of you are the driver, your child is the car, and now you are the guide. So in that situation, that's why I said you have to be very comfortable and be ready to do the lifting and the moving. So in that situation, once we notice that the child is already doing this and about to pee, we quickly put the pants down. Like, good, well done, you're doing it, yay, you did it, well done. Exaggerate the excitement. I think when we did it first time, like, oh, okay, this is what they want me to do. Second time, oh, they are liking the praises. Third time, they're liking the praises. It then became a lot easier, you know, the entire journey became easier. I hope that makes sense. So once you are paying attention to their body language and you know that they're about to go, around that time is when you bring them to the toilet, you know. It might happen that it might not be successful the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, the sixth time, seventh time. You will at some point be successful. So it's just being persistent. Just keep doing it. But once they do their first poop and their first pee, then I personally think, without rebelling, then you are on the right track. Another situation is you're noticing they're about to poop and you're rushing upstairs with them, and at some point they put poop on the floor. That shouldn't be your focus. Leave that poop there. Bring them here, right? Try and make them complete it. If it happens that when they get here, they've actually done all the poop on the floor, you'll be like, oh my goodness, we've had an accident. It is okay. Now we have to clean ourselves, okay? Me personally, I'll throw my child straight into the shower, scrub them, shower them, you know, bring them out, change their clothes. And then after doing that, while they're actually in the shower, I can then maybe use the opportunity to start cleaning. Depending on if the child is not getting upset or having a meltdown, I'll take the poop, I'll throw it in the toilet, you know, be showing them and say, you see, the poop belongs inside the toilet, and now we have to flush the toilet, and mom has to wash her hands. You know, some children would either not like the fact that they made an accident. So one of my kids would cry. They don't like anything dirty on them, or, you know, seeing any mess, and where I say the OCD comes in. So it could be that they want you to clean that mess before they do anything else. If your child shows you that, then try and pick it up, clean it, and clean them. I hope that makes sense. So at the end of the day, everything you do has to be in a way tailored to your child. The only reason why I'm making this video is to give you guide on things you've either not tried or things that you haven't considered yet. I hope that makes sense. But one thing I will say is it's all about modeling. Get your partner to be on the same page, the school to be on the same page. Everybody is doing what they need to do. You know, everyone is doing their part. You're taking breaks, because with me, I would get really irritated sometimes. Then my husband will step in, you know, and then if he's getting frustrated, I'll step in. You have to be as patient with the process as possible. So I think that is all I can think of in terms of modeling. Usually I'll keep a bag of sensory toys and put it on my radiator here. This is usually the spare underpants, and then put it here, and then obviously the clothes here. One of the successful tricks that I use to get my kids to sit on the toilet seat is by getting a stool and sitting very close to them. This will help restrict the access. Obviously, if your child gets really, really upset in the process, you let them go, right? But the point is, let's say now your child loves bubbles. I get the bubbles where they're seated. So Femi seated, he's trying to poo poo, he's trying to pee pee, whatever. Bubbles. You can use the opportunity to sing their favorite song where you're playing with their bubbles. Bubbles, yeah, bubbles. You know, when they're doing the number 2, it could even be that you bring out their fidget toys, their favorite fidget toys, whatever it is, they fidget with it, you know. Some kids might just love to steam. My daughter's favorite steaming is her pens. So give her her pen, she chooses the color she wants, and then just be steaming and maybe be singing nursery rhymes or whatever it is that I know would keep her entertained. So yes, so that is one of the tricks that I use, especially when they are doing a number 2. If they have an AAC device, this can also be an opportunity to model their body part to them. You can create a category about toilet training as well, you know. So it's just trying to keep them seated as possible. I don't know if you can hear the fan in our bathroom, and that's gonna make me go into triggers. So you also have to pay attention to your kids' triggers, and some triggers can be noise. One of the biggest one can be noise. So this might be the best time to get their ear defender. Another thing can be the windows opening. Some children who might also have OCD as well might want the windows shut or opened. You know, things like maybe there's water on the floor or there's water stain on the toilet seat. You know, that can also be a trigger. So make sure that, you know, things like that are wiped before they sit on it. Hand wash can be a trigger as well. So maybe get one that's unscented or anyone that you think your child might like to use. Some children don't like cold water, hot water as well, or might not like the process of washing their hands. You might have to figure that out and see whether maybe the water is so cold or the water is so hot is why they don't like washing their hands. So for bedtime, the routine has to be the same. Some of the things that helped us make it easier. First off, once it's like 7 p.m. at night, we don't give them anything fizzy to drink or try not to give them any water. If they want anything after that, you know, make the liquid as minimal as possible, because if they drink till like late at night, there's a high possibility that they will pee more and you will also have to wake up more. So usually when on days whereby maybe they have to drink late, maybe because they've napped in the daytime and they've woken up at night and they need to eat and drink, then it will be that we'll decide that, okay, one person takes them to the toilet 12, another person takes them to the toilet maybe around 4 a.m. and then somebody wakes up around 7 a.m. to take them to the toilet. But when we used to stick to the 7 p.m., 8 p.m. rule, it could be that before they go to bed, they will pee. Then maybe around 2 a.m. in the morning, somebody will wake up and take them to the toilet to pee. Then by the time we have to take them to pee, it's already morning. So once they wake up, they pee. I hope that makes sense. Another important thing is going out. Preferably, if you have to go out with your child, I would say it's better to at least let them have their first poop and first pee before you start taking them out. Always make sure you carry your carrier bag. If they're going to carry that carrier bag, if you're going out with your child, make sure that wherever you take them to has toilet access, right? Avoid places that doesn't have any toilet access. Also make sure that you have their accommodations, because some children might not like, you know, the hand dryer that makes the noise. Some children are okay with it, some children are not okay with it. Like my daughter now, she's not okay with it. So, you know, be very careful and understand their triggers, because you don't want them having a meltdown outdoor just because maybe someone's turned on the hand, whatever. Preferably, I prefer to use go to facilities that have the disability toilet aspects or the child and mother bathroom. IKEA has one, which is great, you know, so at least you can be in the toilet with them privately and not other people there hearing your child screaming or you trying to work everything out. So yes, so that's another important thing that I would say, especially when you're taking them out. So always take them to places that have toilet facilities. And yeah, I think that's it. If I remember anything else, I'll maybe put it in the next video I'm going to make. But if you have questions, please do ask me in the comment section. And in the next video, I'll just do that based on the question answer kind of like video, answering questions that parents would like to know in terms of toilet training, or that I haven't covered in this video. So yes, I think that is all, and bye for now.